Hey there, folks. Just check to make sure that this is working. Gotta go over to YouTube. Yeah, there we are. Okay, I'll pull up the chat in case anyone wants to. You can see it. Oops. It's a field recording of mine from Jean Metro, I believe. Interrupted by some kids. So, I'm doing some more old school analog work today. How you doing? I got new camera. So I'm using this is the camera I used to draw with. Used to be pointed at my paper when I did drawings. And it's like a Logitech 920? Something like that. It's old, but it's good. But I wanted to, it's complicated. I have multiple computers going on right now. And so I use my worst camera for my work Zoom meetings for the moment. And then I'm switched to this, and I've got a new, it's actually a pretty cheap camera. But it's really good. It's got for this particular purpose. It does get a nice image. So let us wander over to the drawing table. I also have myself what do we call it again? Magnifying glass with light. Jeweler's work light. My eyes are not what they used to be, and I just find it easier to not hunch, to have better posture, and see what I'm being able to do. So I wanted to decide, I've been doing pencils for the box here, color erase, and I was going to make changes to this panel because the dialogue pattern doesn't quite cooperate with the thumbnail layout. I posted some tests I did ages ago for Sandman for Vertigo a while back. And most of the people really thought they were nice, but one comment I got that bugged me was someone commenting on how I said, apparently you still hadn't figured out how to leave room for the word balloons, which was annoying because I actually did think about that. I would rough them out on my layouts, but for the longest time I systematically overestimated or underestimated how large they would need to be. But I did have a reading, I had the script and I had a reading order thought out. Would it have worked with standard size lettering? I never tried to letter it, so I don't know. But lettering and like its impact on page layout is huge. That's a major thing you got to think about. Hello, Oscar. Oscar's wants some snacks. We'll feed him some in a second. And I was doing the what? No, I'm way too far on. Okay, that's why. I'm just looking through the script for page 10. 9, 10. There we go. of saying I was not fit for decent company, covered in sweat and blood and stains as I was. Had this lovely jacket fitted while I took a long soak. There. And then between them, it's very flattering, fine quality work. And already I'm kind of like, I wanted this angle, and I'd already set up their seating arrangement. So I had to be creative with using a down pattern read to make that work. And I'm probably going to shift him back and shift him up to pull it off. That's what I'm going to do in pencils, but I like the rough layout, so I'm going to just do it digitally. And then he says, very impressed by what the Ord can do with their fine cilia. I think that's what I'd rather it say. I'm having them fashion a saddle for my mount as well. There's a striking creature you've come with. I've never seen anything like it. Does it breathe? I should change that. It's not a creature. I don't think so. It's a magical automation. Automaton. There we go. It's a magical automaton. I don't pretend to be an authority on these things. It seems to be alive, and it is. Other than the Dryad, no one can know the minds of others. So this should be, I want to lay out with our philosophizing hippo and a weird goat-like fella, the soldier. That will just be silhouette. Oops, I closed my window with my chat. Goodness. Hello, David. I am never terribly comfortable with being called a master. That's weird. What's my page? Continuity. Always have the page from before where I'm drawing this scene. I'll put it right there so I can see it. I think it's gotta even be bigger. That's right. See, that's why I gotta do these things. Check yourself. I ain't no master. I just follow the process. Everything is process. I think I'll change the angle. Get even closer. Goes together. I've akined this stage of like building the pencils. For me, it's very much like carving. Oops. That's right. Here's a thing that folks might find interesting. So one of the parameters for this project is to not use reference really. Now that's not because I'm against reference at all. I use reference freely to inform my work when I'm drawing things that I'm just less familiar with. And being aphantasic, I actually can recall quite a lot of information about what a thing looks like. And I remember it after having drawn it many times as a sort of muscle memory about the patterns and the shapes. But there's no picture. And what you're going to, even if you visualize, what you're going to remember is going to be a simplified version. So it may not have as much veracity as something where you're drawn from life, which is fine. But there's also an aesthetic choice, whether you want to look like it has that much veracity. And also when you're trying to do something that's more fantasy based, a good way to get away from things is to not root it in observation. So there might be, I haven't used this yet, but I thought up front that I would make allowances for things like if there's a texture or something that I want to figure out how to draw in ink. Referencing that's fine. But just a bite out of his big fruit. So like if this was a human hand and I really wanted to get something super grounded, I'd start posing my own hand or looking up poses of hands to use as reference. Because this is drawn from life, I'm drawing from observation. That's fine. The thing here though is I want it actually to be more fanciful. So that's not the direction I want to lean in. The only thing that I'm doing is when I pulled out the previous page, an example of, is making sure that whatever I come up with is internally consistent throughout the pages. Use it as an organically growing style guide. And some of the creatures obviously look like things we've seen before a little bit, which is all the more reason why I don't want to necessarily overweigh that borrowing from the familiar by grounding things too much, actually. I want them to be a bit more playful. So like when I'm doing reference art, I still want my lines and my final renderings to have a lot of energy and whimsy to them. And one of the ways I do that with that kind of work is just to put away the reference after I've done the roughs. And only look back at them if there's some detail about, say, like a real location's street installations or something, to check if I don't remember. But if I'm not trying to be, or if I am trying to be grounded, that is, I still want the drawing itself to be more organic. And I can preserve that by letting the mistakes happen that do when you're no longer looking at reference material. You creep in, your fallibilities and quirks and preferences and patterns start showing themselves in the work. Trying to center it. There's a little lag here because I'm watching the stream. There we go. Page 10 pencils of the box are done, which means I get to print my blue lines and ink this weekend. And the inking is going so much faster doing it on paper. If you've seen the last two streams, you know that after doing a couple of years of just everything digital, I've decided to spend more time doing stuff on paper It's facilitated because I got a new computer. There are some issues. You heard it revving earlier. I had to get some thermal paste, a thermal paste kit. Yeah, a little thermal paste kit. Because I'm pretty sure when I open up to look that there's going to be some problems with the thermal paste on the CPU. Because the CPU end specifically, even when it's doing nothing, runs weirdly high. Just playing the one track, I guess. And like 70 degrees, just doing nothing, idling. That's like, it should be like at that doing work. And it goes to 100, very easy doing minor things. It's fine for my day job because I'm not doing any demanding CPU stuff because I'm just drawing. But for video meetings, I hear it a lot, and that's a bad sign. So I have to open up and deal with it, but it also interferes with the streaming stuff. So I'm still using my laptop for streams, and I might keep doing that. It's not a bad idea to have different systems. I don't have to keep altering things. But that's kind of why one of the reasons that motivated me to jump on finally getting this actually quite cheap. It's like with taxes and everything, $40. But I think for the streams of drawing, this is a good camera to be working with. And then yeah, so the new computer allowed me to take my laptop off my desk. Creeping doors. And that freed up room to get back to inking on paper. Cool. So I'm going to do a Substack this weekend. All these videos will be part of it. So hello Substack subscribers. For those of you who aren't already a subscriber, if you go follow the link in the description text to my Substack and subscribe, you can get all of my stuff, scans, these videos embedded, podcast rambles, and other things periodically when I update my Substack. And then once I start publishing again, Mind Engine, I'm going to put it out as a series of paid subscription posts. I haven't started the paid subscription process yet, but that's because I'm not ready to do that part yet. But I have a fairly large mailing list to start with, and I would invite you YouTubers to go over and subscribe to that, and that'll be a way to get basically summaries of everything. Someone just David Villafan, hey, red ink pen. It's not in pen. This is pencil. This is color eraser. Color erase Prismacolor pencils. And these are pencil roughs. So I'm just using pencil, and I use different colors. Basically, it's a visibility thing, so you can see like how I pulled out details here with the black. This is going to get scanned and turned to blue lines and inked. Subscribe and stay tuned for that video this weekend. That's right, Oscar. We got to go now. Thanks for watching if you have been, and have a good weekend.